Welcome to the Post Sports Chat. I'm Drew Rubenstein, joined by Todd Murray, and Todd talking WVU baseball, which I think we can say that the funk is over, or at least Randy Mazey hopes so, after the Mountaineers beat Ohio State earlier in the week. And how much did the team really need that victory after getting swept by both TCU and Oklahoma State in Big 12 play?
Yeah, they needed it in the worst way. You know, when you haven't won in 2 weeks, it's tough, and it just it weighs on you pretty heavily. And I think I could sense a lot of relief in those faces when they beat Ohio State here. And it was a difficult evening weather-wise, temperatures in the low 30s, some snowflakes swirling around, a wind, and you know, all of that adversity. Yet still were able to come out on top thanks to a pretty remarkable pitching performance by Ross Vance.
Do you think WVU may have found a new starting pitcher in Ross Vance? Because also after the game, Randy Mazey announced that Sean Carley, who had been the #2 pitcher behind Harrison Musgrave up to this point, was moving into the bullpen to become the closer, which obviously means John Means, the #3, goes up to #2, and they're looking for a new #3 in that weekend series. Does Vance earn himself at least an opportunity there? And what's your take on the pitching changes overall?
Right, I think you certainly see Vance in a Big 12 weekend, though probably not this weekend, because he did throw 145 pitches against the Buckeyes. But I mean, you know, after an outing like that, 14 strikeouts, just 2 walks, which has been a big bugaboo for the pitching staff. You have to give a guy like that another chance, and wouldn't be surprised to see him when Kansas State comes to Hawley the next weekend. I think the plan for this weekend, they're gonna start John Means in the opener against Oklahoma. He did not pitch against Oklahoma State with a strained triceps issue. They think that is healed. They're going to keep Harrison Musgrave on Friday night, as he is accustomed to doing, and go from see how the first 2 games go, and then see who they send out on the mound on Saturday in the season for the series finale. But Carley, you know, he just has that look of a relief pitcher with the hair and the goatee. He looks like a guy who would close out games, and you know, he's pitched very well here lately, and they have had a lot of trouble getting guys out late in close games. I think it was a move Randy Mazey felt he needed to make. So it should be interesting if Means and Musgrave can keep them in the game in the late innings. I think he's going to feel a lot better about their chances of holding on to wins.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about Carley, because you mentioned some things in his pitching style and the look. I mean, it does take a different type of approach coming out of the bullpen. A lot of the game's great relievers and closers have been starters gone bad. Carley was doing great as a starter, and this was more out of necessity of just needing somebody to close out games. But do you think he has the makeup, and what is that transition going to be like for him going into the bullpen?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I mean, the guy is just such a competitor. I mean, he pitches the first inning like it is the 9th inning. He goes after every hitter, and that doesn't back down to anyone. So yeah, I think Randy Mazey obviously has seen this, and that's why he's going to try him in this role, and I think this is going to work out well for the Mountaineers.
Let's look at the bigger picture for this series against Oklahoma. You mentioned how it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday moved up a day because of the Easter weekend, and allowing the team and players to get back home for the Easter weekend. But West Virginia, it seemed like 2 weeks ago, the conversation was about what they needed to do in conference play to potentially get themselves into the NCAA regional play, and now they're flirting with Kansas State there at the bottom of the barrel to just try to make the Big 12 conference tournament. That said, there's obviously still a lot of season left to be played, but they need to pick up things in a hurry in Big 12 play.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, this is certainly a big series, and they've lost 6 in a row in the league, and they need some wins. And in this series against Oklahoma, and then Kansas State the next weekend will be another huge series that could be 2 teams that are battling for that last spot in the Big 12 tournament. So a lot of big baseball games coming up, and then WVU needs to get some wins here.
All right, very good. Todd, appreciate your time once again. Please continue to check TheDPost.com for latest on the WVU baseball team. Thanks for watching.